What's up, y'all? It's been a minute. So we're on a new block today. Well, this is a pivot, so this week we'll be coasting, but doing a lot lighter weight, stretching, things like that. Kind of take a break from the heavy lifting that I did from last week before we jump into another heavy block. Usually how it works for me, I can't consistently go heavy because at some point in time my body's gonna crash. So we try to figure out when to do that. So every 5 weeks I'll do a heavy block. We'll pivot, meaning lightweight, volume, stretching, very, very lightweight work. And then we'll go back into start up another again. That's how my body will function. So it'll be easy today. We'll have some, just goblet squats, regular squats, tempos, very lightweight work, nothing too impressive. And then just some mobility. I think it's just going to be me today. I think John Averill might pull up, so we'll see. Either way, I need to get my vibes going, so let's get some vibes going. Gotta love the Weeknd. I'm a big fan of Old School Weeknd, and that song kind of hits. But all right, y'all, let's go in there and get it. All right, starting off with some hip mobility. We're gonna do some hip abductors and adductors. I call this the good girl, bad girls. I think that's the universal name for these. And every time I say that, people know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so normally we don't do hip mobility to start off with. I kind of do some other stretches, but I think I'm gonna start incorporating these because I'm not gonna lie, this felt great. And don't need to go too heavy or anything like that. It's just, hey, focus on opening up, getting your hips open and stretching. Kind of a good warm-up. So I'm definitely for sure going to start doing this before I do a squat. Since we're on a pivot today, we're just going to focus on very light work, reps of 5 at RPE 5. But we're going to do some tempo work, kind of focus on the form and making sure I stay tight the whole way and, stay upright. And I'm not gonna lie, doing those hip mobility exercises before I did squats really, really helped. These felt extremely, extremely well. So after I was done, John noticed that my elbows were in a better position than it was last week. And that was my main focus, just to make sure my elbows didn't move. All right, so up next was goblet squats. Didn't have any goblets, so I just used some dumbbells. Grabbed a 50-pound, and the idea was to do a 30-second hold. So did this for 3 sets, and it was nice. I need to start incorporating more of these workouts in my main lift days. It's just only beneficial for me. But all right, y'all, let's finish up and let's head back to the house. All right, y'all. Just got back home. Simple day. Couldn't complain. It's nice taking pivot days because it's nice just doing lightweight and some volume. Not as stressful and not as taxing. So it was nice. It's funny enough, when I do my pivot days, I always make sure I do the best form on everything. So I try to make those squats look extra crispy, even though it's only 2 reps. But, oh well. Next we have bench. Simple stuff. But yeah, you'll see that on the next video. All right, mug of the day, and this one goes out to my Star Wars nerds, part of my Star Wars series, Dagobah. Now, this one is one of the original, part of the original set that released. I believe it was Dagobah, Hoth, and Bespin. Funny enough, those 3 are the hardest ones to find, or you can find them, but they're the most expensive. Usually, I can find the other sets together, but when it comes to these 3, those are hard to find without paying a hefty price. So, but for anyone who doesn't know Dagobah, Star Wars universe, Dagobah is where Yoda fled to, the planet he fled to after fighting Darth Sidious, Palpatine. So there you have Yoda, helmet. That's the X-Wing that Yoda pulled out of the swamp that he made Luke try to do. You got R2, you got Luke trying to train with Yoda on his foot. The cave where he faces his fears, which happen to be Darth Vader, and possibly turning into Vader himself. Yoda's home, and more of Luke training. And on the top it says a Jedi's strength flows from the Force. Yeah, I forgot exactly where he says that, but yeah. But all right, y'all. I appreciate you guys sticking around. See you in the next video. Talk to y'all later.